You've had this day? It starts quietly, a tickle in your throat at breakfast, a strange, internal chill by lunch, even though the room is warm. By evening, a fog settles in your head, and every joint begins to ache. You're not fully sick yet, not laid out in bed, but you feel off. This strange, quiet day of feeling wrong is the most important day of the entire infection. It's the day the outcome is decided. Because deep inside, long before you consciously feel it, the first battle has already begun. Your body has made its opening moves, and they are incredibly fast. It all begins with a single cell, the first one to be breached by a virus. It can't see the enemy, but it can feel it. Inside the cell, specialized sensors detect patterns that scream "invader," the telltale shapes and textures of a virus's genetic blueprint. This one cell now has a critical job: warn the neighbors. It floods its surroundings with a chemical shout, a protein called Type 1 Interferon. This isn't just a cry for help, it's a command. It tells every nearby cell, "Lock your doors. A threat is here. Prepare for impact." This amazing defense was first seen in a lab back in 1957. Scientists Alec Isaacs and Gene Lindenman couldn't figure out why a pre-exposure to a dead virus could stop a live one. They named the mystery substance for what it did. It interfered. Here's why that warning shot is so powerful. Nearly every single cell in your body is equipped with a receiver for that interferon signal. It's like every house on the block is tuned to the same emergency radio frequency. Within 1 to 2 hours of the first shout, the entire neighborhood goes into lockdown. They activate internal enzymes that act like scissors, ready to chop up any viral blueprints they find. They shut down their own protein-making factories, starving the virus of the machinery it needs to build copies of itself. This is why you start to feel so awful. That foggy, achy, washed-out feeling isn't the virus itself. It's the feeling of trillions of your own cells hitting the emergency brakes. It's the feeling of your body shifting its economy from peacetime to wartime. With the neighborhood on high alert, the first patrols roll out. These are your natural killer cells, or NK cells. They are an elite force, making up 5 to 15% of a special class of your circulating white blood cells. They are constantly moving through your tissues, acting like bouncers, checking IDs at every door. A healthy cell constantly displays a special signal on its surface that says, "I belong here. I'm one of you." But a virus, in its attempt to hide, often forces the cell to pull that signal indoors. For an NK cell, a missing ID is as bad as a fake one. It immediately targets the compromised cell, ending it cleanly and quickly, sometimes in as little as 5 minutes. It's a brilliant system where the virus's own attempt at stealth is the very thing that gets it caught. While the NK cells perform their targeted missions, the first wave of heavy infantry arrives. Your bone marrow is an astonishing factory, pumping out fresh neutrophils at a scale of 100 billion per day. They are always on call. Following the earliest chemical distress signals, they can swarm a site of infection within hours, swallowing invaders and cellular debris. At the exact same time, a system that's already in place springs into action. Your blood is saturated with a network of proteins called complement. One of the most abundant, C3, acts like a smart tag. Within minutes of an invasion, it starts sticking to the surface of microbes, marking them for destruction. It's like a dye pack exploding on a bank robber, making them instantly visible and easy for other immune cells to grab. Now, a message from the front lines reaches your brain. It arrives at the hypothalamus, the tiny region that acts as your body's thermostat. In response, a signal molecule flips a switch, telling your brain to change its definition of normal. The temperature set point is dialed up. Suddenly, your current body temperature feels cold. This is why you start to shiver. Your muscles aren't shaking because you're losing heat. They are working overtime to generate more heat, racing to meet that new, higher target. A fever is costly. Each single degree Celsius rise in temperature earns about 10% more energy. Your body willingly pays this price because a warmer internal environment is a strategic advantage. It's a scorched earth policy that helps you win. That extra heat provides a two-pronged attack, especially right where many viruses first enter, your nose. Common cold viruses, for instance, replicate best in the cooler temperatures of your nasal passages, around 33 to 35 degrees Celsius. As your body warms up towards its new feverish target of 38 or 39 degrees, the virus's ability to copy itself slows to a crawl. But just as importantly, your own defenses get supercharged. That interferon alarm system works even better in warmer conditions. Your cells can run their antiviral programs harder and faster. The very warmth that hobbles the invader also strengthens your own shield. This is where the story of an illness can split into two very different paths. Imagine two people in the same house catch the same virus on the same day. One has a fast, robust interferon response on day one. They feel awful right away, achy, chilled, and tired. But the virus is immediately contained. They're back on their feet in 48 hours. The other person has a delayed interferon wave. The virus gets a crucial head start, replicating for a full day before the alarms go off. The fever comes late, the cough gets deeper, and the illness drags on for a week. Same virus, but a different day one response created a vastly different outcome. We saw a dramatic, real-world version of this in 2020, when scientists discovered that about 10% of patients with severe COVID-19 had a terrible vulnerability. Their bodies were making antibodies that attacked their own interferon. It was the equivalent of cutting the alarm wire before the break-in even happened. All of this happens before the most famous part of your immune system even shows up. The highly specific antibodies, the ones that grant you long-term memory of an infection, are still days away. The first wave of general-purpose antibodies typically appears around day 5. The high-powered, long-lasting ones don't peak until week 2. They are the specialists, the cleanup crew, and the historians who write the memory of the fight. But they inherit the battlefield that was shaped in the first 48 to 72 hours. The early responders aren't just fighting, they are also intelligence officers, gathering fragments of the enemy and delivering them to the training grounds where the antibody-making cells are just beginning to gear up. The first day doesn't just hold the line, it writes the playbook for the rest of the war. So why does evolution tolerate a defense system that makes you feel so miserable? Because the misery is the mechanism. It's a feature, not a bug. The achiness and fatigue force you to rest, conserving that precious energy for the fever. The interferon-induced brain fog isn't collateral damage. It's a sign that your entire system has shifted its priorities to defense. In fact, when doctors give interferon to patients as a drug to treat certain diseases, the most common side effects are flu-like symptoms. Chills, fever, body aches. They feel like they're getting sick. What they're actually feeling is the pure, unfiltered sensation of their body's ancient antiviral program running at full power. Feeling awful, early, is the weapon. The most amazing part is the speed of it all. Complement proteins tag invaders within minutes. An NK cell can eliminate a threat in the time it takes to boil a kettle. The interferon alarm floods a whole tissue region within hours. All of this is happening while you're just starting to wonder why your throat feels a little scratchy. So the next time you feel that first, unmistakable chill on the couch, remember what's happening. Your body is pulling an all-nighter for you. It is quietly, efficiently, and brilliantly winning the part of the war you will never even see. That strange, quiet day isn't the beginning of a defeat. It's the feeling of an unseen victory already in progress.